Hey, Joe Bob Briggs still here, and what a bizarre ending to a bizarre movie. Especially the Japanese guy taking pictures. What was that about? They kind of set it up for a sequel, and they eventually did make the sequel. It was a pretty pathetic TV movie called Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby, and I'm ashamed and abashed to say that we have had it on this very show. Okay, next week on Monstervision, we have a great double feature. I'm really proud of this lineup for a change. The first movie is The Dead Zone, starring Christopher Walken in what I think is one of the most underrated Stephen King movies, directed by the great David Cronenberg. And we're following that up with Warlock, the Armageddon, starring Julian Sands as Satan's advance man. Right now, though, we have a very strange picture. I'm not sure exactly what this thing is, to tell you the truth. It appears to be a failed pilot for a television show that was made into a cheap movie, and the only reason people are interested in it is that it was written and produced by Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. It came out in 1973, and the premise is that Alex Cord is put into suspended animation in the year 1979 as part of a government experiment, and there's an earthquake, and so he's not taken out of suspended animation until the year 2133, when he's found by a half-human, half-cyborg played by Mariette Hartley, who of course falls in love with him, but he has to first figure out who the good guys are and who the bad guys are and what the hell happened to New Mexico and Arizona in the 150 years he was snoozing like Rip Van Winkle. So I'll just give you the drive-in totals and you can judge for yourself. We have 2 dead bodies, 1 earthquake, brain injections, 1 bikini-clad mutant with 2 belly buttons, 1 blonde wrestler with intergalactic cattle prod taser, 2 fistfights, 1 toga riot, 1 nuke explosion, kung fu, tranquilizer dart foo, 1 star. Check it out. We'll be here. Why are there so many toga parties in any movie that's set in the future? Why would we assume that people in the future suddenly want to put on sandals and dress up like Cicero? Isn't that why the barbarians beat their heinies in the first place, right? Attila, you Hun, stop. You'll get my tunic dirty. You know, we have hardcore, depraved cyber geeks who never miss a single week in the Monstervision chat room. Some of them hadn't changed clothes or showered in 3-4 days, and they get in this kind of computer keyboard psycho freakazoid zone, and they want to discuss Antonioni with me. Check this out at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision, but whatever you do, don't mention the early work of Francois Truffaut when he was a critic for Cahiers de Cinema. That drives them crazy.
Come meet all the Monstervision fans in our chat room at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. Back to Joe Bob's Last Call and Genesis 2 on TNT.
Alex Cord as the suspended animation guinea pig. And as soon as he wakes up, what does he want? Drugs and sex, of course. And speaking of drugs and sex, Rena the Mail Girl is on her way out here as we bring you another installment of Joe Bob's Advice to the Hopeless, our scary weekly journey into the depths of the TNT mailbag.
Drugs and sex?
Yes, well, I was free associating there, and you don't remind me of drugs.
Well, don't worry. You don't remind me of sex.
But it must have been somewhere in your mind or you wouldn't feel the need to deny it, right?
No. Where you're concerned, women on other planets feel the need to deny it.
Oh, women on other planets.
Yeah.
I never date outside the state of Texas. Well,
thank God.
The continent, anyway. Except for there was a Watusi girl and a couple of sisters from Lithuania.
I'm sorry, we're not even going to go there. We're going to just go ahead and read your very first letter. This is from Nicole Costa of San Jose, California.
Oh, okay.
She's not from another planet.
I see we're going to have some show and tell here.
Yeah.
All right.
What is it?
Dear Monstervision, I wrote a poem. I hope you like it. Men go to Jupiter to get more stupider. Women go to Mars to get more cars. Did I make you laugh? Yes or no? Circle 1. I hope I won a t-shirt. Thanks.
2.
Could you send 2? Just in case I win, I would like a t-shirt for my mom, who is a big fan. Nicole Costa, age 10, a very big Monstervision fan. And then it says, funny picture on back. And you turn over on the back, and she has, let's see if you can pick this up on 3. It's an illustration of her poem, obviously, because she has cool cars, stupider.
It looks just like you.
It does not. Cool cars. What was the point? Cool. Men go to Jupiter to get stupider, so this is stupider men. Okay. Well, Nicole obviously misunderstood the rules for the Monstervision caption contest, but she did send this great illustration for her poem. And why are you laughing so much?
Men go to Jupiter to get stupider. You're going to go very far. You're going to go far. I think, no, let's just go ahead and read our next letter. This one is from a young viewer. His name is Nathan Johnson, and he's from Tallahassee, Florida. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, an artist.
He is
I like it when we get these where they...
talented.
This is like kids' night. Okay. I like your show. Play Predator, Aliens, or The Thing. The new male girl is better. Nathan Johnson, show my picture on TV. And he's done a drawing here of our show. Pretty good. I recognize myself there, see? And look, there you are.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Put
yeah.
Reno on it.
It's not... Oh, thanks a lot. You know, wouldn't it be nice if children would give sweet things like that to you all the time? And...
Reno, obviously you've never had a kid in the house. They bring home 40 things like this every day.
No.
You know, you eventually have to throw some of them in the dumpster
no,
and act like you forgot where you put them.
No, you wouldn't. I mean, who would throw drawings like that away in the dumpster?
Every mom who ever lived, Reno. Come on, get real. Sometimes you can be very naive. I mean, not if they're this good.
No.
I mean, this one you would frame. This kid has talent, you know. But, you know, kids, they bring home, you know, you have like stacks so that, you know. All right, Nathan and Nicole, thanks for writing into us. I hope you're not watching the show, actually, because it's way too late for you to be up. But I'll root around here, see if I can't find something to send you. And now we're going back to Genesis 2, the movie that's similar to life here on Monstervision, because I'm always sort of in suspended animation.
Is that
and
for sure?
Reno is always sort of in love with me. So roll it.
Say what? Say what?
Have you dumped your boyfriend yet, by the way?
Excuse... What?
You need to take care of that, because I'm not going to wait forever.
That's what you think.
Back to Joe Bob's Last Call and Genesis 2 on TNT.
Only barbarians have sex in the old way. They put that in darn near every sci-fi movie, you know, starting with Barbarella. Only barbarians have sex that way. Why do I feel all the actors are just wandering around the set in search of a plot? Because it's a pilot. It's all exposition. You explain this, and then you go over here and you explain this, and then you have Mariette Hartley drop her robe and show off her bikini and her double belly button, and you have people walking around in cool tunics, and nothing ever happens. So let's move it along, okay? Roll it. Not that there's anything wrong with having Mariette Hartley flash a little bikini action, because the girl has definitely put in a little Thigh Master time, you know? Did they have the Thigh Master in 1973? No, I don't think. That seems prehistoric, you know? No Thigh Master, no Stairmaster. They didn't even have the Abdominizer in 1973. Of course, that also means no Stairmaster butt. I can't stand those girls that work out on the Stairmaster so much. They have that Stairmaster butt. It rides up in the back like a reverse kangaroo pouch on the hiney. Yeah. Whew, Mariette Hartley didn't have that problem. Hey, Joe Bob Briggs here, and look at all these emails that just poured in today. Let's just read one. Hey, cowboy, did your mother smoke crack when she was pregnant with you? Well, we just love to hear from all our wonderful Monstervision fans, and there are 2 ways you can do that. You can write to me in care of Monstervision at 1010 Techwood Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318, or you can email me at monstervision@turner.com. And you can also visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision and make my life a living hell directly from there. Let's try another one. Dear Joe Bob, you said... A lot of mail came in today.
Catch Monstervision with Joe Bob Briggs and Reno the Mail Girl every Saturday night on TNT. Back to Joe Bob's Last Call and Genesis 2 on TNT.
Tyrannia is starting to look like it's not such a happy place after all, right? I guess the name wouldn't be a tip-off, would it? Oh, Alex, we want you to choose between the city named Peace and the city named Tyranny. Take your time. Anyway, the late Gene Roddenberry created this show, one of many failed shows he tried to get started. The only successful show he ever created was Star Trek, and it only stayed on for 4 seasons, unless, of course, you count Star Trek The Next Generation. But Roddenberry died in 1991 at the age of 70, but he had a very interesting life. He survived 2 plane crashes, including one while he was flying B-17s on bombing missions against the Japanese in World War II. And after the war, he flew for Pan Am for a while, but he didn't like that and he quit. And he supported himself for a long time as a police officer. He worked for the LAPD by day, writing TV scripts at night. And he finally made his first sale in 1954. He sold an episode to a show called Mr. District Attorney. And then during the 50s and early 60s, he would write for many of the nighttime dramas, including Dragnet and The Naked City and Highway Patrol, The Virginian, Dr. Kildare. He was the head writer for Have Gun Will Travel. Remember that? Starring Richard Boone as Paladin. And then he scored his big success with Star Trek, which went from 1966 to 1969, and nobody knew exactly why they took it off the air. When he died, they launched his ashes into space. I kid you not. Let's watch more of the master struggling to give birth in Genesis 2. He also wrote and produced a movie, I should mention this, called Pretty Maids All in a Row. Yeah. With Rock Hudson as the high school football coach who sleeps with every cheerleader at the school. Anybody see that movie? See, in 1971, you could do that. Today, 50-year prison term. What's happened to all the great American traditions like sleeping with underage cheerleaders? You know, the country's going downhill, isn't it?
Back to Joe Bob's Last Call and Genesis 2 on TNT.
Assume the position, or else I'll turn this intergalactic cattle prod up to 9. Gene Roddenberry was always ahead of his time, wasn't he? Look at this movie. It predicts the whole Rodney King thing, complete with tasers, 20 years before it happened. And now Alex Cord is being such a naughty boy that the guys in white tunics are going to have to work him over. Roll it. The Pax guys are such geeky weenies, though. Let my people go. They're being mean to us. What would you do for a Monstervision t-shirt? Just think about what would happen if you walked into a singles bar wearing one of these babies. You'd have all kinds of scummy people who wanted to talk to you. Well, you're closer to a free pina colada than you think, because all you have to do is enter the Monstervision caption contest, make the 6-headed jury laugh, and you get the shirt. So check it out at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision, and please don't try to win by saying the F word 19,000 times in your caption. You're going to need to save that stuff to impress your date.
Want a good laugh? Then play the Monstervision caption contest at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. Back to Joe Bob's Last Call and Genesis 2 on TNT.
Mariette Hartley. Is she human? Is she cyborg? Is she good? Is she evil? Does she love him? Does he love her? We'll never know because they never made the series. Mariette Hartley has had a really strange career. Her very first movie, she was the star of it. At the age of 22, she got the lead in Ride the High Country, the famous Sam Peckinpah movie. And then she made very few movies in the 60s. She was in Alfred Hitchcock's Marnie. And by the early 70s, she was strictly B-movie gal. She made The Return of Count Yorga, The Magnificent Seven Ride. She was on Peyton Place. She had some failed series. The Hero with Richard Mulligan, if you remember that one. She was very briefly the host of the Today Show, then the host of the Morning Show. But since the mid-'70s, she's mostly just made TV movies. She's more... You know what she's most famous for? Those Polaroid commercials that she made with James Garner. That's probably the most famous thing that she ever did. At any rate, Alex Cord just knocked her on her butt, and now the revolt can begin in Genesis 2. You'll be happy to know that it's almost over. Roll it. You know, Mariette Hartley got an Emmy for a guest appearance on The Incredible Hulk. Now, do you know how good an actor you have to be to get an Emmy on The Incredible Hulk? First of all, you got to get somebody in the Academy to actually sit down and watch an episode of The Incredible Hulk. Lou Ferrigno, man of the 70s.
Back to Joe Bob's Last Call and Genesis 2 on TNT.
Bad, Alex Cord. You set off that nuclear explosion. Well, okay, I promise not to do it again. That's how it ends, right? Well, I know it will be hard to face the future without nuking anyone, but I'm willing to try. Can't imagine why Genesis 2 never caught on as a series. Okay, one more time. I want to remind you that we have The Dead Zone next week on Monstervision. Christopher Walken as a man who can see the awful future in a Stephen King horror flick directed by David Cronenberg. And our second feature is Warlock the Armageddon, starring Julian Sands as the devil's messenger boy sent to Earth to prepare the way to make war with some suburban druids. And that's about it, I guess. That's it for me, Joe Bob Briggs, reminding you that there are rules in life, and one of them is if you dance with a grizzly bear, you better let him lead. What is it when a man talks nasty to a woman? Sexual harassment. What is it when a woman talks nasty to a man? $3.99 a minute. Joe Bob Briggs, remember, the drive-in will never die. What's the definition of making love? Something a woman does while a guy is having sex with her. How can you tell if your wife is dead? The sex is the same, but the dishes pile up. How can you tell if your husband is dead? Sex is the same, but you get the remote. What do you call a mushroom with a 12-inch stem? A fun guy to be with.